Hi everybody, I'm Ms. Perez here to read you some more Macbeth. Yesterday when we read, he was haunted by the spirit of Banquo and he thinks he needs to go talk to the witches again. So let's see what happens when he goes to see them. The witches were seated in a huddle around a fire over which a cauldron bubbled. In the sky above their heads a full moon sailed, casting silver light over the battlefield, still littered with unburied corpses. The blind witch held up her crystal. Deep inside, a tiny horse and rider galloped wildly through the night. "He comes," she cackled. "The spell is still strong." And Macbeth came out of the moonlight, his horse's flanks white with lathered sweat. He climbed from the saddle and was about to speak when the hooked-nosed witch called out, "The king wishes to know the future." "It is not for the faint-hearted," warned the bearded witch. "I have courage enough," Macbeth growled. The blind witch dipped a wooden cup into the cauldron and held it out. "Drink," she said. Macbeth took the cup and lifted it to his lips, shuddering as he swallowed. Fire and ice and the light of the moon burned in his brain. The blind witch's face melted like the edge of a cloud and became the face of Duncan, his silver hair dark with blood. "Beware Macduff, the Thane of Fife," Duncan said, and then he changed into Banquo. "No man born of a woman can harm you," Banquo said. "You will rule until Birnam Wood walks to Dunsinane." "Then I am safe," cried Macbeth. "No one can stop me." And he was alone. The witches, their cauldron, and the fire had vanished. It was the start of a fearful time. On his return to Dunsinane, Macbeth ordered that Macduff be arrested. When he heard that Macduff had fled to England to join Malcolm, Macbeth had Macduff's castle burned and his wife and children put to death. From then on, anyone who questioned the king's commands, no matter how harsh or unjust those commands might be, was executed. The gap between Macbeth and his wife grew wider. The guilty secret of Duncan's murder gnawed at Lady Macbeth's mind like a maggot inside an apple. She fell ill and began to walk in her sleep, dreaming that she and Macbeth were still covered with Duncan's blood. "Out, curse-stain," she croaked. "Well, will nothing make me clean?" Doctors could do nothing for her, and she grew weaker every day. Then at last hope came to Macbeth's suffering subjects. Malcolm had raised an army in England, and with Macduff at his side, he marched his troops into Scotland. There, the army was greeted by cheering crowds who longed to be freed from the tyrant Macbeth. First, Glamis Castle was captured and burned, and then Malcolm's forces marched on to Dunsinane. To the despair of Macbeth's generals, he did nothing. Each time they advised him to go to battle, he laughed and said, "I have nothing to fear until the day that Birnam Wood walks to Dunsinane." So that's probably a very clear forewarning of what might happen to Macbeth. Stay strong, everybody. Take care, and we'll continue reading later. Bye.